Hello and welcome to the top 10 must-buy, must-use early game uniques in Path of Exile. About 8 months ago now, I made another video talking about 10 cheap early game uniques that worked into the endgame. Now, like a lot of things, Path of Exile has changed a lot in the past few months. As a result, here are 10 more uniques in this top 10 list format that you might want to consider early league. Most of them will cost under 10 Chaos Orbs, several are under 1 Chaos Orb, and they will all provide enough value that you can take them all the way to Tier 16 Maps, Sirus, or whatever you want. Starting with number 10, Ungil's Harmony. Anytime you need to crit reliably without needing to worry about that pesky crit damage, be it on a Poison Assassin, Rupture Deadeye, or Elemental Overload build, this amulet is a great way to do it. It gives a massive amount of increased critical strike chance, and a little bit of life and mana. While this won't be the perfect item, it is shockingly close to the power level of a +1/+1 or Fizz's Extra or Pen amulet, so you can use it for a very long time, if not forever. Next up, at number 9, we have Sintrek. In many ways, Sintrek can be considered the default best-in-slot ES boots. They give you everything you want in most ES builds. You want 30% move speed, so that you can walk out of a fire. Dexterity is often very helpful because a lot of ES builds use things like Hypothermia, which requires 111, which is very close to the 117 required for Sintreks. And at up to 180 ES, plus the ES you get from the up to 30 intelligence, this is really difficult to replace and will serve you very well. Moving on to number 8, Cold Iron Point. The only reason this didn't rank higher is it can get expensive and not everyone uses Fizz Gems. Fizz Gems are some of the most powerful and most scalable gems in Path of Exile, be it Carrion Golem, Blade Blast, or Exsanguinate. As long as you don't need to worry about elemental damage, Cold Iron Point is for you. It gives +3 gem levels, which makes it very easy to scale gems up to around level 27 to 30 when those numbers really start adding up. It'll work for pure Fizz builds, and it will work for poison builds. Unfortunately, it will not work for elemental conversion builds, which is why this is at number 8. And because it is well known, it can be a little expensive in the first couple days, but because it's a very common item, the price drops very quickly. At number 7, we've got Terminus Est. Terminus Est is just a decent melee weapon. It's a two-handed sword, which means it works with a large variety of attacks. It's got a solid damage range, and it gives you frenzy charges on crit strike. Frenzy charges are great, they give you damage that make you faster. And everyone loves going faster. I've also heard rumors that if you drop a 6-link Terminus Est within the first 24 hours of a league, you unlock special Don the Crown voice lines for the rest of your league. However, if you want to find out the truth of this, you'll have to drop it for yourself. This channel is not responsible for any lack of voice lines in Path of Exile, or any promise of voice lines made in this video. Then at number 6, we have Triad Grips. More and more, they are becoming a critical part to the success of minion builds. It is far easier to scale base Fizz minions via Hatred. Hatred effectively double dips. It gives you Fizz's Extra Cold and more cold damage. So if all of your damage is cold damage, you are getting both parts of that aura effect. You could also use Elemental Equilibrium via something like Arma Brand or Storm Brand to add additional res shred to further increase your minions' damage. The price will vary based on coloring, and 4 green can be the most expensive. But with things like Harvest in the game, and your crafting bench, it's not too hard to do that recoloring. You can pick them up early, and they will serve you throughout the rest of endgame. Next, at number 5, we have the Conqueror's Efficiency, which is the most solo self-found friendly unique ever to exist. You are quite literally guaranteed to get one on every single character you make, because it's a quest reward. You get this from the Wings of Vastiri quest, which you do in the bathhouse in Act 8. Anytime you need a little bit of extra reservation to fit one more aura into your build, and you can't afford those pricey RMR jewels, then you should pick up a Conqueror's Efficiency. And if you want an even better version, you can corrupt it for 1% RMR. Then at number 4, we have the Mistwall and Replica Mistwall. Now, Replica Mistwall can get a little bit pricey, but I'd like to talk about Mistwall today. A lot of builds use Acrobatics, which gives you a 30% less chance to block. This is to prevent you from going super avoidance, where you have a chance to evade, and if you don't evade, you have a chance to dodge, and if you don't dodge, you have a chance to block. This would make you virtually unhittable. As a result, GGG has made it very hard to scale both dodge and block together. And this is where Mistwall comes in. Mistwall does not say plus chance to block, it says you are at your maximum chance to block attack damage if you have not blocked recently. This means you are at 75% chance, or whatever your maximum is if you're using increased maximum chance to block, regardless of the 30% reduction. It does only block 1 hit per 4 seconds, but if you're on a build with high dodge and evasion, that's really all you need because you shouldn't be getting hit all that often. If you want something that works against spells, i.e. bosses, then I suggest the Replica Mistwall instead. Because you get it through Heist, it can be a little bit pricier, but it is well worth it to laugh at Sirus as you dodge the first hit of the beam with Phase Acro, block the second one, and don't die to the third because you have Wind Dancer, Wind Ward, or Kintsugi. Then at number 3, Essence Worm. Mind over Matter is a great way to scale early game defenses, especially on something like a Necromancer, Hierophant, or Ascendant. And with the rise of Archmage builds, we see more and more Mind over Matter builds coming into the meta. But damage can sometimes be a little lacking early on, especially since you don't have any auras. The whole point is that you don't have anything reserved and your mana is a resource. So what Essence Worm will do is give you one completely free aura. This aura is usually used for a damage aura such as Wrath or Hatred. It costs no reservation, so you get that beautiful unreserved mana for all the nice offensive and defensive capabilities. It does cost a ring slot, but that is really a small price to pay. Next, at number 2, the Eye of Malice. Eye of Malice is one of the most underrated uniques in the game. When combined with Elemental Equilibrium, Combustion, Exposure, Curses, and Elementalist, you get an absolutely absurd amount of res shred. If you ever liked the game Limbo and wanted to play how low can you go with enemy res, Eye of Malice is one of the best items to do it. Make no mistake, the line, enemies have 50% increased resistance, is a multiplier to your damage, because it does not add plus 50% to their resistance, it multiplies their current resistance by 1.5. So if you already set them to, let's just say, negative 83% resistance, Eye of Malice will boost that to a whopping negative 124.5% resist, allowing you to do around 33% more damage. You can think of this as a 7th link on your main skill. And because it also applies exposure itself, it's a pretty good, well-rounded item that you can include in your build at a fairly minor cost. It is especially good on any build that can effectively use Elemental Equilibrium, and if you can't use Elemental Equilibrium, you might want to consider pairing it with the Ziggy D-Ring, Malachai's Artifice. This allows any build to use LE Equilibrium because instead of it being a global modifier, it is local to the gem socketed in the item. And then finally, at number 1, the most powerful, easily accessible, inexpensive, unique item that will carry you all the way through endgame, Crown of the Inward Eye! This drops off of Sirus the Awakener. This helmet is extremely good because it gives Transfiguration of mind, body, and soul. Transfigurations give you an increase to a defensive stat, such as mana, life, or energy shield, and give you an increase to damage based on a percentage of your increase to that stat. For example, Transfiguration of Mind gives you generic damage based on your total increase to maximum mana. Transfiguration of Body gives you increased attack damage based on your total increase to maximum life. And Transfiguration of Soul gives you increased spell damage based on your total increase to maximum energy shield. The helmet itself also gives some nice defenses in the form of up to 21% increased life, mana, and ES, making this an incredibly well-rounded, hard-to-replace item. More and more, there are builds that simply don't replace it. If you like this list of top 10 inexpensive unique items that are endgame viable, be sure to check out my original list where I talk about 10 completely different items, all of which are endgame viable and many of which are very underrated. Please keep in mind that this ranking is entirely subjective, arbitrary, and otherwise irrelevant. I just wanted to introduce 10 items in a fun and different way. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like it, don't forget to share it to your friends, and if you want to see more videos like this on various underrated items, talking about some ascendancies, and playing some games, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join the Discord, because that is the best way to see every time I upload. So now, my question to you is this: what is your favorite early league unique item that you tend to use on a lot of characters or think you get a lot of value from? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And special thanks to all of my channel members who help support me so that I can continue to make videos just like this one. Your support really means a lot, and without it, I probably wouldn't be able to make videos this regularly. If you want to help support the channel, click the membership button or the link down in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful and want to ask me a question in a more interactive setting, I stream at least once a week here on YouTube, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have relating to this video or any of my other videos. Thank you again, and I hope to see you on stream sometime. Have a great day.